Hello, my friends. I welcome you to another episode of Aditya Talks. And today, another Saturday, another story. Today, I'm bringing you Mr. James Nguyen from California, and he is a very interesting person who has a young pioneer in the cancer research industry. He's doing a lot of great work, and today he's going to share his experiences on how he faced challenges early on in life and how he overcame them, and find like how he found his passion, and now how is his experiences facing all of that. Anyway, though, this is going to be a very interesting episode. Stay tuned till the end. I hope you enjoy. Please subscribe and hit the notification button. And anyway, let's get on with the interview. Welcome to the show, sir. How are you doing?
Hello, it's my honor to be on the show. Thank you. Yeah, so I'm James Nguyen. I'm an immigrant from Vietnam, and I'm only 17 years old. But I just want to say that I admire you too, because you're doing your own podcast and initiative to spread knowledge and positivity around the globe at a very young age of 13, 14. So I think the world needs a lot more people like you who are courageous enough and bold enough and confident enough to go out there and really do something that matters. Yeah.
I also agree because and it's an honor to interview you. And today I'm going to learn a lot. By the way, you stay tuned till the end. Today is going to be it's going to be a fantastic interview. Though, so moving on. My first question: Can you what are your learnings from the incident you faced early on in life? I don't want to talk about it, but how did it change you?
So I was a very innocent and young kid who got in a lot of trouble in middle school. Um, so let me tell a story from A to Z, okay? So in third grade, my parents divorced, and I never saw my dad since. And I'm 17 years old now. When I was in third grade, I was 8 years old. So it was about 9 years. I haven't seen my dad. But it's okay. Um, there's everything happens for a reason, and there's always opportunity to grow in everything in life. So yeah, that incident happened, and then I went to middle school. I would yeah, and I was a very crazy kid who are very impulsive, hyperactive, and attention grabbing. So I would do things that make people laugh, and I would do things just like very impulsive things just to satisfy myself, which is very um, which leads to a lot of bad consequences. And I keep repeating those behaviors in my sixth and seventh grade, um, and so I committed a lot of misbehaviors, and I got into a lot of trouble. But eventually, my dean told me that I was at the edge, and that like I was sitting on thin ice, and that I couldn't like add one more incident to my blacklist, to my black history. And eighth grade, I decided to change my whole personality and like revamp my entire self. Um, yeah, and then ninth grade, summer after I graduated eighth grade, summer eighth from ninth grade, I immigrated to the U.S. Summer 2019. So I was in the U.S. for only 2 years, 2.5 years, and I didn't know any English back then. But then I adapt myself to the environment, and now I speak English a lot more fluently. Uh, and yeah, my single mom, me and my brother, three people immigrated from Vietnam, like half the globe, to the U.S. for a better life. But um, unfortunately, 7 months into immigration, we're living 7 months in the U.S., and then we received news that my grandma got glioblastoma, so brain cancer, and that really hit me. And then 1 month later, she passed away, and it's very constricting, restrictive, and uncomfortable to hear that news far away, because you can't do anything. You know that it's bad, but you can't really do anything, and that's depressing. That's really why it's very painful. But then it hit me a lot. It hit me because, like, when I was young, up to that point, I didn't know what I always thought that, oh, my brother's gonna be there for me, my mother's gonna be there for me, like all those loved ones gonna be there for me. But then when my grandma died, I was like, oh shoot, this is reality that everybody have to die, and that's when the first time when a close loved one died, and I felt like a part of me was disappeared too. But then I thought the only way that I could make this a meaningful landmark and like incidents in my life is to put myself out there and know and learn as much about cancer as possible, and then see what I can go where I can go from there, and what I can contribute to the field of cancer research from there. Um, yeah,
I think I'm sorry for you, man. Uh, that's a pretty rough childhood, like having to immigrate like from your country and then go on to a totally new place and then have a person saying that you have a blacklist and all of that, and then you have to change and all of that, and then you face your grandma's um death. So I think that that as a childhood was like really rough. um I sympathize with you, but uh I think so. Anyway, everything happens like for the good, because we can't change what happened, but ultimately you learn from that. Most people stay and just grieve over something, and I don't think that when you face challenges in life, don't stop at the challenges. That challenges should push you to newer heights. I think you took that opportunity, and now you're here. I think you did a great job with your life, at least up until now. How can the young generation face challenges and learn from them? What is your advice for them on adapting and being the better version of themselves?
they just have to be obsessed with self improvement, and they have to make the realization that progress equals happiness, and that time is never gonna stop. Like, no matter if you watch Netflix for 8-10 hours a day, or you sit and cry, or you do whatever, you try to distract yourself, time's never gonna stop, and life's gonna always keep moving. So you distracting yourself is only gonna hurt yourself. Like, you can't hide from the problem, because the more you hide, the more it will negatively affect you. But if you try to face it just one time and really be honest with yourself and look deep down into that challenges or that failure or that obstacle, you will see light, a big source of light, just like walking in a dark tunnel, and at the end of the tunnel you see light. And it's the same thing. You gotta honor the struggle, because think of struggle as a stepping stone to success. It's like the catalyst for success, because without failures you wouldn't be motivated to be successful, to try hard, to strive, to go out there, to apply yourself, and to like obliterate all those obstacles. So challenges really push you, um, and they should push you. The hardest of time should make you the strongest you. You know, pressure creates diamond, and like there's this quote that um, if you if that success were met without failure, then it wouldn't really be a success. Yeah.
I think I also agree with you. Be wholehearted on what you do and just follow one path. Don't distract yourself with many other things. If you're working hard, if you have your studies, do studies. If you're don't distract yourself while you're doing studies. So I think I also agree with you on that. Just focus on what you're doing and don't distract yourself. um you faced a lot of challenges early in life, and uh, but instead of losing, you learned and grew from your experiences. How did you find a passion for cancer research among all of these challenges? Because of course, at least some people find it hard to heal from past occurrences, like and they like grief until like 2 or 3 years. You grew out of that and grew more than that. You grew in the field of cancer research. How did you find your passion? uh, I want to ask.
Um, how did I find my passion? I was just thinking that since So I was just like going through life, and then this big incident happened, and then like it was a shock, and then it wasn't smooth anymore. It was like a bump, right? And so that catches my attention. So then now, like in my memory of my past, I at least know that I used to be very sad because a loved one died due to this disease, and so it's just natural instinct that I go on Google on my laptop and search up what the heck is this thing, what the heck is cancer, and all these diseases, because I want to know, because I want to know. I just can't let like something or somebody negatively affect somebody I love and then not do anything, right? It's kind of like almost like me taking revenge on cancer. It's kind of like me as a as an observer, right? I observed my grandma being harmed by this cancer disease, and so I thought, I like when that happened, I was in ninth grade, and so in my mind, I always thought of cancer as this, like, this bad guy, this like this antagonist in the story, and that I have to like show up and somehow know more about this antagonist and do something about it, because I can't just sit there and let it happen. Like, I don't care. So yeah, that's what I did. I just and the more I research, the more I know, the more I'm entrenched in the topic, the more I lose myself, the more questions I have. So I have some questions about cancer. So first question is basically like, what is cancer? So I found out that, and then second question may be like, why is it hasn't been cured for such a long time? Then the third question is, oh, because it's different for every individual, and so, and why is that different, and why is like some drugs kill and then kill the cancer cells, tumor, and then relapse? Oh, the answer is, oh, because there's cancer stem cells and they're resistant, and they might not be killed and they can regenerate the whole tumor. So the more I know, the more questions I like. It just keep running out nonstop, and so I just keep learning more and more and more. And the one point I want to make is, passion is built, not found. It's found. You can find your interest. Like, you're going through life and you watch this, let's say, cool YouTube video about frogs, and then now you're interested in frogs. So if you spend more times learning about frogs, you will know if you are interested in frogs or not. And so passion is built because you have to spend time learning the topic, discovering new things in that topic, and like, you have to talk with, it's mental self-talk with yourself. It's, do I really like this thing? What is cool about this thing? Like, why not other things? Um, yeah, and then after spending long enough time and you make up your mental talk of why you wanted to do this thing, then passion is, then you have built your passion. Because I don't think passion is something that you can find. It's not like something you lift a rock up to find, or like it's behind a tree. You have to build it. You have to cultivate it. Um, and I remember Sal Khan, the founder of Khan Academy. He said, human has more than the ability to just like to just go through life and hope that they will one day bump into something that's like purpose or their calling, which just fall down on them. That they have more ability, they have more capability than that. They can build it. They can go out there and find out what resonate with them, and go deep in that. And along the way, there's a lot of fulfillment for you to grasp.
I think I also agree with you, because passions, because you can't just say that I have a passion, I will work. Passion is built by the work you do and the time you put into the thing you like. So I think that goes to, if you have a passion, you actually work hard for it. Not like, I have a passion, I have this passion, I have that passion. It does not work like that. But first, so what will be your advice, like, to young children, like, to like, find their passion at a young age, like around 10 or 12 or 13, around my age, children, 12 years old, 13 years old.
Know what you hate. most people would say, go out there and find your passion, do what you love, find what you love. Well, I want to make this point where knowing what you don't want to do, knowing what you hate, is just as good as knowing what you love. In fact, it's more useful because let's say there are 1,000 things in life. You might only love two or three, but there's a high chance that you hate a lot of them. And so if you hate them, then that's a hint to what you should do next. So let's say I hate math. Well, what does that hint at? Well, I actually love math, but let's just say hypothetically I hate math. So what does that hint at? Well, if you hate math, that means let's say you don't like logic, you don't like step-by-step procedure, you don't like meticulous analyzing, right? So maybe go to the opposite spectrum then. Let's say go to writing poetry, something like that, right? It's just creative and imaginative, and you free flow, and there's no analyzing, and it's just you being you, just you picking up the canvas and the paint tooth, and then just painting up your own picture. Yeah, it's the very practical step is knowing what you hate, and then asking yourself, what does that hint at?
Yeah, how do you like how do you remove it? So I think that is also an interesting take on finding your passion, and I also agree with you somewhat, because I think passion can be found, of course it should be something you like. If you hate something, then you like to remove it. So if you hate something, you know what you hate, know what you don't want to do in life, and try to remove it, and do something that you do like. I think that is also a very interesting take. Moving on, can you tell us like about the work you have done in the cancer research field? Because we have been talking about philosophy a lot in this podcast, like up until now. But can you tell us about the work you have done, and what are your future plans?
Oh, this is an exciting topic for me. So I have written and are in the process of publishing 8 cancer research paper, literature review papers with 8 different professors from top universities, including Harvard, Yale, Cornell, UCLA, uh, Columbia, Stanford. Um, I've worked with those people and in the process of publishing them in 8 different journals, international and national included. And I also co-founded a uh, an algorithm, AI machine learning algorithm that could detect uh, early breast cancer. So it's an images. So you know how when a breast cancer patient walks into a clinic, they take this picture of their breast, and the doctor, the oncologist, will analyze the picture to see if they really have breast cancer or not. Well, the eyes of the doctors are human, and of course, humans are vulnerable to mistakes. And so, what if we build a AI machine learning that could recognize the patterns of those tumors and diagnose it with a higher accuracy percentage than the doctor? So that would be a really good benefit to humanity. Yeah, but then after in the process of doing that, I realized that it's very restricting because the amount of data that you feed into the machine learning algorithm is very little compared to all the possible data out there. What that means is, let's say the field is, let's say 100 pictures represent all the type of breast cancer in the world. Right now, we only have one out of the 100. Like, just to see how big it is, how much data that we haven't collected yet. If we collect all those data and feed it into the machine learning algorithm, that algorithm would be much, much, much more accurate, and the percentage rate might reach 9900%. And so we might never need an oncologist to diagnose breast cancer again. And so I'm building the machine learning algorithm, and I'm also building this program that reach out to hospital to take breast cancer images. Um, And I know, of course, it's confidential, but I wrote up an explanation and proposal to them, and that it would only be feed it into the machine learning algorithm, and I don't know the name of the patient or the face of the patient, anyways. So it's just a picture of a real uh, breast cancer patient. Yeah, and that's the bulk of it. And for the future, you asked about what I want to do, where I want to go with
Yeah.
this. So in cancer, there's three main area that that are the golden area for innovation. It's number one is early prevention. So preventing it even before it's happening, even before it happened. And then there's early detection. So when it happened at an early stage, you detect it. So right, early prevention, and then early detection, and then the third one is late stage treatment. I have worked on the early detection with the machine learning algorithm, um, and I'm also trying to go with this route called early detection and then making cancer your friend. Because one of the most interesting thing that I come across in my journey of researching is that I realized that if we can't beat cancer as an enemy, we must learn to be friends with it. Because let's say realistically, like there are like a billion scientists that have tried to tackle cancer, right? And none of them succeed. So what are the chances of like of a real cancer curing drug existing? Not much. So because if it has, I think some people would have discovered already. So then I thought maybe because there's a very big parallel between cancer and the common flu, the common cold, right? Let's say you can't make a single treatment for the common cold because there are like 300 plus type of rhinoviruses that cause the common flu. It's the same thing for cancer. Well, one misconception people often have is that cancer is one disease. No, cancer is an umbrella term. It's an umbrella term because the brain cancer is different from the breast cancer, is different from the lung cancer, is different from the colon cancer, different from the eye cancer, different from bone cancer. It's different blood cancer. And even if we have the same type of cancer, the same cell, the exact location in the body, the treatment might not work for both because the genes is different. My gene is different from your genes. And 8 billion people in the world, no two humans have the exact same genes. And that is why when cancer happens, it's extremely hard to find one thing that hit all of them. And so that is the problem. So I thought, what if we tackle cancer as we tackle the common flu? What if we just live on with the common flu, right? We tolerate it, right? Like every year, more than 100,000 people died from the common flu. Yet more than 30,000 people, sorry, died from the common flu, and we just act like it's of course it's happening. But if that happened to cancer, then that got people attention. So what if we make cancer the new common cold? What if we treat cancer as this flu? I mean, can you inject CAR T cells into your body to treat cancer, to keep it at that level? Because cancer cells is basically uncontrolled cell growth, right? Uncontrolled cell replication. What if you make CAR T cells to inject in your body? They just keep, instead of the cancer cell level rising up like exponentially like this on a graph, what if you just keep it stable like that? So theoretically, that basically means uncontrolled cell growth is now controlled cell growth. And so cancer is no longer harmful. Do you know about CAR T cells?
CAR T cells, I don't know about them. Can you just give a brief on them?
Yes, it's T cells are a type of cells in the lymphatic system that basically kills and wipes out pathogens or
Yeah.
toxic material. So CAR T cells is a chimeric antigen receptor T cells. So basically, you genetically engineer a T cell to have specific receptor on the cell surface, so that such that when it faces a real cancer cell, it attaches to the cancer cells, and it mobilizes and it triggers other cells in the lymphatic system, such as the NK cells, the B cells, the white blood cells, to come and collectively destroy the cancer cell. And yeah, universal CAR T cells is basically that one CAR T cells that if inject into me, it could control my cancer, and if inject into you, it could also control your cancer too, because it's universal, because it has many type of receptor. So if the ligand is the thing that binds to the receptor. So if my cancer has a different ligand, the universal CAR T cells has different receptor. Let's say the CAR T cells has 5 receptor. My cancer only have 1. Let's say it's A, and it fit in with the A receptor of the universal CAR T cells. You, on the other hand, let's say you have B ligand, and it fit in with the B receptor, because it has a lot receptor for all the ligands, so it's universal. Yeah,
I
and
think, yeah, so basically it can solve all types of cancer.
and then there's also this. Do you know CTC chip?
I really don't know a lot about this, but can you tell me about it as well?
Yeah, so CTC chip is a circulating tumor cells. So cancer cells is a tumor. It occurs in some part of your body, and then metastasis happen, and some small fragments of the cell of the tumor go out into the bloodstream, and then those are circulating tumor cells. And
CTC.
so, yes, CTC. Um, there's this chip that people have invented that that uses liquid biopsy. Basically, if you take any liquid of your body, let's say your tears, your saliva, your pee, your blood, your sweat, maybe like that's too much of a range. Maybe there's a more narrow range. But you take your liquid, you put it through the CTC chip, and think of the chip as a filter. Think of it as like a filter, right? You put your liquid through it, everything will go through, right? Except the cancer cells will stay on top. So it's like a device for identifying and separating the cancer cells from your body.
Hmm.
So it's a nano.
Okay, so I think that's really interesting, and you can do really. There's a lot of innovation that you can do on cancer, and it can solve a lot of problems and save a lot of lives uh, across the world. I think what you're doing is sounds very interesting, and I hope I'll also do a little research into all of this after the interview, and I'm totally interested into this field. But can you tell us about like what kind of impact do you want to have on the world in your whole life? What is your why? Like.
There's this famous question where they put you into a scenario where you imagine yourself going to your own cemetery when you die, and what would you want to be written on your tombstone? So basically, your legacy, your impact, and of course, you want it to be positive. But I think it's very subjective. The impact you have can just be tailored to your own family. Let's say your goal is to be a good dad, stay-at-home dad, to be a good husband. Let's say that's your whole life goal, and to be a good son to your mother. But there are also people who go big, such as do something that has a wide scope and of of affecting everybody. So Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, those guys who create just one thing for society, and it become a huge part of people life, and it literally changed how we view the world from here onward. Um, yeah, to make the impact I have, the dream kind of impact I want to have on the world is one that I just told you about. It's where a world where cancer is not eliminated, because I don't think we can eliminate cancer, but where cancer don't cause as much harm because we tolerate it and we put it under control. Yeah.
I think That's a really interesting thought, because if we can solve cancer in this generation, we can solve. I think that I think that's a really interesting goal you have, and I totally agree with you. I think this is possible that we can prevent cancer from happening, like to a scenario where cancer is like non-existent altogether. But like, of course, it will not be like zero, but lesser than it is today. So I think for I think you should just have that the number of your lives you save are going to be like uncountable. But thank you for sharing your learnings. So now I wanted to ask, what is your advice? Now let's get back into the philosophy track once again. What's your advice for youth, generalized, to be successful in life?
I believe everything boils down to three elements. It's growth, passion, and contribution. Growth, passion, and contribution. And if you plus them all together, you mix all three together, you should have the dream recipe for fulfillment, for achievement, for everything you want in life. Passion is what you love. Growth is progress. Contribution is making something or someone outside of yourself more positive. So if you plus passion, plus growth, plus contribution all together, it's using the best of what you love to do to make the most amount of positive impact you can have on the world, on a general level. Using the best of what you love, using the best requires growth. Of what you love is passion to make a positive impact on the world. That's the contribution. So it's growth, passion, and contribution all smashed up together. And the one thing that I would really, really, really stress, I can't stress enough, is um, mindset. Your mindset determines everything. People have a lot of helpful advice on life and personal development, such as make good friends. The average the five people who you spend the most time with is the average of who you are. But it comes back to the mindset, because if you have a good mindset, you will go out and find the good people to hang out with. That's all your mindset. And let's say you should like honor the struggle and find the value in this, in the obstacle, in the challenge, in the adversity. But if your mindset is not right, if your mindset don't have a big enough why of why you want to obliterate through these challenges, and why it's necessary, and why it's like a must to be successful, then you won't do anything. So four things actually: growth, passion, contribution is the three things you should strive to absolutely master and get get a hand off in your life. And the tool to do that is one word: mindset. Your mindset, it's simple, but mindset points out to different things: relationship, spiritual, financial, educational, like every phase of your life.
I think I also agree with you. You should have all these things. You should have a great if you should follow your passion. You should always have a mindset that, and you should never be distracted. All of that culminating into one thing, you will be successful in life, and you will get whatever you want. I totally agree with you. What do you do in your free time? Like, what are your hobbies? Just of course, above like outside of cancer research and all of that.
What's my hobbies? Um, I play Tetris.
And nothing
I
else.
play, I play Tetris. I watch comedy. I love to play table tennis. I love to do magic tricks and shuffling and playing card games. Um, yeah, and I also watch biology research lectures, and I just do that for fun. That this just show how much of a nerd I am.
No,
Uh,
I guess that's a common thing because I also love to like watch, not exactly research things, but I love to like just put on a TED talk, listen to it, or something like that, or go deep into like one topic for an hour and just like explore something new. I think that's a really interesting hobby you got there. Though, I have another question for you. Like, do you consider yourself like happy or successful? How does it feel to like follow your passion? Because you face like so many challenges at an early age, and now you're above all of that. How's your life going on currently? Are you happy? Like, what's your thought on that?
I keep a gratitude journal, and every day before I sleep, I just reflect on my day and write down three things that I'm grateful for. Maybe it could just simply be that, oh, my teacher in the Taekwondo dojo let me play my music playlist while we practice. It could be that. It could be as simple as that, or it could be, um, oh, I asked my teacher to print something out for me, and he gladly do it. That could be it, or it could be like a fun conversation with a girl I care about, or something like that. Or it can be like I receive an acceptance email from this program that I applied and I really want to get into, or something like that. Like just three things that stand out to you at the top of your head. It just pops in when you think of the word. What am I grateful for today? And so those they are this like back line. It's like a solid wall for me to lean on when life provides me with lots and lots and lots of adversity, especially unexpected one. There's this quote I really like. It says, when life show you 100 reasons to cry, you show life 1,000 reasons to smile."
Yeah, I
So
that's a great quote.
I love that quote. That's like a brain tattoo for me. Yeah, and so I don't have 1,000 things to be happy, but I'm getting there. I'm writing three things down every day. So if you do the math, that's 333 days. Yeah. So and there's also this philosophy that I really like. Is that happiness is you got to go out there and find it yourself. You got to cultivate it. Like people have this misconception that a happy life is a life without challenges, without lows, without negatives. No, a happy life is a life with highs, with lows, with positive, with negatives. But it's how you interpret it. It's how you react. Just always remember that the highs, the positives, the rewards, the achievements, the happy moment will give you memories and celebration. But the lows, the negatives, the adversities, the obstacles will give you lessons and experience. So everything negative and positive serve for your own growth. And growth equals progress equals happiness. So you just gotta be happy in life and keep a big perspective of everything that's going and always think long term. Because when one bad things happen, you gotta ask yourself, is this gonna affect me in the long term? Because most bad things don't. They keep you in a rut, in a bad state for a short term. But once you integrate the lessons that the universe is trying to send to you, and you do do what is right, what is what's right for your personal development, then you should be grateful that you got to experience such drama or such adversity or such difficulties in life. Because without those difficulties, you wouldn't be who you are right now. You wouldn't be as successful. You wouldn't be as wise, as experienced, as open to new experiences, even if it's bad ones. Yeah.
I think so. I also wanted to ask. You have done like great stuff at an early age in the childhood. What like who are your role models and inspirations? What inspires you to like who is your inspiration in the cancer
I have a
field or anyone generally?
I have a lot of people who I actually I don't have one idol, but I have like a couple of billions.
Yeah. Same
Let's
here.
say a rapper. Let's say a rapper, right? A rapper go on rap this song, and just one line of lyrics that I hear, and it fit into the situation that I'm in right at that moment. That could be it. That could be life changing for me. That could be it. That could be the impact that the positive impact that he or she have on me. And it's just a random rapper, right? It's a random rapper, and I just hear this song, and the one lyric just hit me. That could be it, or it could be Albert Einstein, a great, like something. I don't even have to like explain Albert Einstein, just the name. People will be like, yeah, no cap needed. And then great scientists, people who overcome struggles, who overcome uh, background, overcome their their predisposed uh, disadvantages, such as like let's say like they have like a disease, genetic disease they were born with, or disabilities, or whatever. Really, situational factors. As long as they have the mindset right, as long as their internal is strong and committed, nothing external can touch them. Nothing external can touch them. And yeah, Elon Musk is a good example, and Mahatma Gandhi, Mother Teresa, like all those people from like good, a good mission, a good vision, a good heart with soul touching, charisma, and true desire to leave positive legacy. Any people who have those things I admire deeply and greatly. And I think one of them might be you, Aditya,
Mm.
because
Uh,
despite this young age and little experience and little knowledge and maybe a bit off here and there as a youth, you still go out there and do it. And that's what I love. Is that you have to do it, and just Nike slogan, just do it. Yeah, and then all the positive things will come. And it might not come right away, and there's a high chance that it's not going to come right away. But the positives will never come if you don't traverse the negative to get to the positive. So yeah, work always comes before success.
yeah.
And the real kicker is the work is where you find your joy. Success isn't really the part that's joyful. It's the work. It's the process of putting in effort. It's the process of grinding every day. It's the process of striving. It's the process, the journey, not the destination. Yeah. It's where you harness your most positive memories, your most desire, your most like manic, high, elevated state of being driven towards a purpose. That is fulfillment. The moment you receive your trophy, your awards, you stand on stage, people clap for you, that isn't as much as a source of fulfillment as the whole process is. And so, yeah, journey over destination.
I think that's awesome. I also have a lot of inspirations, like like not in billions, but in millions at least. I don't think even seen many people in my life, a million people in my life, but though I'm inspired by a lot of people, and I think. It's really interesting. You should have one inspiration in your life, because if you're not inspired by anybody, if you don't have a blueprint, or like I just want to be like this guy, not exactly like this guy, but add my own flavor to it, and that's or someone that inspires you to go on. You should have somebody like that, because you can't always be motivated from yourself. Like when you face a challenge and something like that, there are some people that help you on. Though, do you read books? I have a question for you.
A lot of books, like yeah, a
Most recent book you've read?
lot. The Untethered Soul, and
The
it's the most life-changing one. The Untethered Soul by Michael B. Singer.
and the third soul. Okay, so like any books like you recommend for us to read?
Mm. Digital Minimalism, a book by Cal Newport, is I think highly relevant to to today's society. Um, let's say The Untethered Soul is a good one too. The Subtle Art of Not Giving an F, you know about best-selling.
Yeah.
Awaken the Giant Within. Uh, mm, there's a lot, honestly. Atomic Habits, High Performance Habits, Brandon Pritchard, and by James Clear. There's a lot of self-help books out there that are just like really, really can change your whole outlook outlook on life and how you the mindset you have to carry on with your life, with your lows and highs and your mediums. Yeah.
Yes. I think those are like a bunch of like great books. I've read most of them, but I've not read like The Art of Not Giving an F by Mark Manson, I think. But I think I'll read all of these books too. And by the way, you can also read them, my viewers. And I hope you're enjoying the interview. I was like caught in such a flow that I forgot to remind you. But though I'll mention James like LinkedIn in the description below if you want to like connect with him or learn like from him or even like collaborate with him on something. Just hook him message DM him and he'll check you out. But moving on, um, can you tell us like about please share two people whom you would like to see and learn from on this show.
Future guests.
Yeah.
Um, I would love if you can invite Danielle Grubel. I don't know how to announce her name. It's Daniel or Danielle Grubel. TKS Activate right now. Yale undergrad.
Yale undergrad. I said two people by the way.
She. I'm sorry. She's majoring in what's that? Brain surface technology. And the connection between artificial intelligence, computer science, and neurobiology. Yeah, that's very interesting. One more people would be there's a list of people I just forgot, but Aditya Mittal is already on your
Sure.
has already been on your yeah. Naila Malu.
Yeah, you can like just DM me like their names or I'll just like connect with them. Though we can like sort that out later. But moving on, can like what's your advice for me? Like I hope you enjoyed the show and the interview, but like one unique thing that you've liked about the show and any suggestions which should be incorporated to improve the experience of our viewers.
Mm, I don't know actually. I think your podcast and most of the podcasts that I have listened to, it's pretty good. It's the the layout, the concept, the thing we should talk about is pretty much similar and the same. Honestly, the thing I think you could improve on is basically the level of your guests. It could be way bigger and it could be grander, grander, and grander, and not just stop at level somebody like me, but somebody who let's say won like science Olympiad when they're 7 years old. Like go for somebody big.
I think that's the motive of the channel because there are like if you ask someone like what's an entrepreneur, like first thing that comes in his mind is Elon Musk and then or Bill Gates or something like that. So I think no, a common person, not like a person like working in the industry or field, but I think to increase the awareness of people and like bring like stories from like places that like that even people don't know, like, so I think that that is the motive of my channel, like raising stories like from the corners of the world. Of course, I also take like interviews of like big people, but and like children doing great stuff. But I also like to do this. So I don't think like there's I like to keep doing this. But thank you for your advice, and my viewers. I hope you enjoyed the episode. Thank you for sticking out until the end, and leave your thoughts in the comments below, and connect with Mr. James if you have any questions. And see you next Saturday.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
so much. Having a show. Have a good night, everybody.